Ashuri, MT. Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker of the agenda tonight, Mr. Dr. Diki Askia, SSI, MSI, and all my beloved friends who are blessed by Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma sholli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. First of all, let's thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us guidance, happiness, health, and mercy until we can attend and participate in this special event without any obstacles. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us to the path of light from the darkness in this light. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin this agenda by reciting Al-Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now, we're coming into the main agenda. The main agenda is the lecture about akhlak bermedia sosial, which will be delivered by Mr. Dr. Diki Askia, SSI, MSI. To Mr. Diki, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope, how are you? I hope all of you are in a great condition tonight. I know that maybe most of you or many of you are tired tonight, and I really appreciate that you are still following tonight's agenda, which is mentoring for Islamic religions. Yeah, I hope you still can hear or understand or focus on this agenda. Okay, so let me. Okay, so first of all, my name is Diki Askia, as introduced by the moderator, and I am a lecturer in mathematics department. So I'm one of the lecturers in mathematics department, and in this event, I will share about. Let me share my screen. I will share about etika bermedia sosial. I'm sorry, the slide is still in Indonesian language. I hope it is fine because I haven't translated the slide to English. So, and I think it is also good so that maybe most of you can understand from the slides easily because it is in Indonesian language. Yeah, so this slide is not made by me. So this slide was made by Pak Ardi Maulina Vastara. He is also an ITS lecturer from urban planning. In Indonesia, it is called PWK. But I think because this slide is good, so I will use this slide in this event. So yeah, okay. So this is about social media. Yeah, I think especially for students, I think it is not something new. I know that all of you are very, very familiar with social media, so it is not something new to you. I know that you have used you use it a lot in everyday life, maybe, or even maybe some of us cannot stay away from social media. Normal nowadays, I don't know, or many students usually very active in social media, and in this because it is very common for students to be actively involved in social media, so that's why we need to know what is the ethics, how to use the social media in a good way. Good way means in a way that is aligned with the Islamic religion. Okay. So how we can use the social media so that it is aligned with our religion, which is Islam. And in the past, of course, there is no social media in the time of Nabi Muhammad. Of course, there's no social media, so it is new. So we need to find some guidelines. We need to find some guidelines how to use the social media properly, because of course, if we do not follow the Islamic guidelines, then we may make some bad deed. Nah, kita mungkin melakukan perbuatan yang jelek ya. Okay, we may make some bad deed, and we may receive some punishment later. And that's why, because we use the social media a lot, and maybe it is even for some people they are more active in the social media than in the real society sometimes. So that's why it is very important for us to know how to use the social media according to the Islamic guidelines. So this is one of the motivations why we need to know about this now. Okay. So if you have any questions or comments or any remarks, yeah, you can just say it without waiting until discussion. It is fine. Just say, or you can raise hand, or you can write. It's up to you. So, or if you want to wait, it's also fine. So it's up to you. Whenever you want to say something, feel free to say it. Okay. So this is one of the one of the statement by Germany Can. This is the positive effect of using social media. So one of the positive effect of using social media is that social media can actually help us to increase our level of thinking. Yeah, I think it is true, because by knowing many news, by knowing many opinions, by knowing many things, then of course it can help us to increase our knowledge or increase our thinking level of thinking, so we can think better than before. Yeah, so I think it is true. This is the first remark by Germany Can. Yeah, okay. So what is social media? I think it is very clear to us. It has many forms. So as you know, for example, like what is this? In the past, we have mobile phone, and we can talk to each other. And this is, I think, it's maybe 10 or 20 years ago. And we also use SMS, short message service, and we also use emails. And recently, there are many new social media like blog, and then I think like maybe Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or some other forms of social media. And I think you know more than me, I think, yeah, because maybe there are many social media that I do not aware of. So the question is why do we actively involve in social media? This is the question that we need to ask to ourselves, because the answer for one person may be different from the answer to another person. So we need to ask to ourselves why we need to, or why I actively involved in social media. What is my reason? What is my motivation? Yeah, you should ask this to yourself. So I think like tonight or maybe early in the morning, I think it is a very very, I don't know, the condition is very silent. So in a very silent condition, like early in the morning, then usually it is like before subuh, for example. Usually it is a very good time to, like, for example, do tahajud or something like that. Besides that, it is also a good time to do apa namanya, melihat sendiri ke diri sendiri. Look at ourselves. To look at ourselves. What have I done? I think it is a good time to reflect ourselves. What have we done yesterday or last week or something like that. So as far as I know, it is it would be nice if we have a time to reflect ourselves, to see ourselves. It is not easy to do that, but I know it is not easy to do that. But we need to try. We need to try, and we need to see ourselves. We need to observe ourselves. The motivation, the reason is that because maybe yesterday or 2 days ago we made a mistake, or maybe we made some bad things. Then if we observe ourselves and we realize that it is a bad things, then we can try to improve it. For example, we can try to decrease or minimize the amount of bad things that we do in the future. For example, by learning from our experience. I think this is a good thing. I myself maybe cannot do it regularly, but in this opportunity, I would like to ask myself and also all of you to do that, because because it is better. So we need to try as far as we can. Now, okay. So coming back to social media, so we need to ask ourselves why we are involved in social media if we are actively involved. Is it because of existency, or we want to be, or maybe we want to be, we want many people to pay attention to us. Kita ingin dapat perhatian. We want the attention from maybe our society, or we want attention from our friend, or we want attention from our family. Is it the reason? You can ask to yourself. Or maybe the other reason is opinion. Maybe you are actively involved in social media because you want to give opinion to certain condition or certain situation. For example, recently I think all of you have heard that Vanessa Angel has passed away. Then there are many positive opinion, there are many negative opinion, and maybe you want to be involved in social media because you also want to give your opinion in that tragedy, for example. This is another reason. Another reason maybe is about communication and socialization. For example, if you are in study in ITS and there is, for example, a WhatsApp group for all students in a department, then you use it for communication. Communication between students in the same year in the same department, for example, or citra, pendukung citra atau pencitraan, bahasa Inggrisnya, pencitraan. So maybe you want to be known as, I don't know, you want to be known as a smart guy, or you want to be known as a funny guy maybe, or you want to be known as a person with many knowledge maybe. So that's probably one of the reasons you are actively involved in social media. Or maybe to add knowledge, because by actively involved in social media, you can learn more knowledge, more experience, or some other things, some other similar things. Now, another reason is maybe you want to make an achievement. You want to make an achievement for something. Maybe there is a competition in the social media, and then you participate, and then you want to obtain some achievement. This is, I think, a good thing. So you want to achieve something, or curhat. I don't know what about this in English. Curhat. Of course, if you do this, if you do curhat to your close friend, maybe it's fine. But if you do curhat to many people, maybe it's not good. Yeah. Okay. So it's risky. So you need to choose maybe a person that you trust to do this usually, because there are many crime that happens because of this, or aktualisasi TV. Okay. Okay. So from these reasons, some of them are positive, some of them are negative and some of them are neutral. So you need to, or maybe we, because maybe I also actively involved. So we need to ask ourselves whether our motivation is positive or negative or neutral. We need to ask to ourselves. If it is positive, then we can continue. If it is negative, then yeah, maybe we need to change our reason because it is negative. So we need to, of course, it cannot be done instantaneously, but slowly, I think it should be possible to change our motivation to something positive. Okay, so this is, I think, about it. So we need to try to be to have a positive reason to be involved in social media. Yeah, this is about some data. So in Indonesia, there are many people that use smartphone and internet and also actively involved in social media. Maybe we are part of this that are actively involved in social media. I don't know. Yeah, maybe this is just a guess. As you know, that the number of smartphones that is connected is actually larger than the number of populations. So this means one person may have, in average, one person has more than one smartphone. So I think it's quite, maybe you know from many in television or something like that, that many people have more than one smartphones that are connected to the internet. So this is one of the data. And 65% use internet, and 59% are actively involved in social media. This is the type of social media platforms that is used according to this survey, or Hootsuite survey. And according to this survey, YouTube is still number one, and then WhatsApp, and then Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Line, Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, Pinterest, WeChat, and so on and so forth. Okay, so YouTube is still number one, and then WhatsApp, and then Facebook. Those are the top three of the most used social media platforms. And then what are they looking for in YouTube, for example? So this is the query. Songs about Indonesia, about film, about DJ, live, lucu. Okay, so these are the keywords that are mostly used for searching in YouTube. In general, Indonesian people like entertainment, hiburan, and ghost, something like that. So they, that's why in many television, in many national television, there are still some or many about ghost, something like that.
Dalam laporan riset dari Microsoft.
Wait. There is a video. Let me share sound. Let's hear this news, and then we can continue.
dalam laporan riset dari Microsoft 2020 Digital Civility Index atau DCI, survei untuk mengukur tingkat kesopanan pengguna internet, netizen Indonesia menempati ranking bawah dan bahkan netizen Indonesia dikatakan paling tidak sopan se-Asia Tenggara. Lantas apa sih alasannya? Selengkapnya akan kami ulas untuk Anda dalam netizen Indonesia tak sopan se-Asia Tenggara. Nah, dalam survei tahunan dari Microsoft ini diselenggarakan antara bulan April sampai dengan Mei 2020 yang melibatkan 16.000 responden di 32 negara yang terdiri dari kaum muda dan juga dewasa. Nah, survei ini menggunakan skor dari 0 sampai 100, di mana makin rendah, skor berarti paparan resiko online ini makin rendah. Sehingga tingkat kesopanan di dunia maya negara itu disimpulkan makin tinggi. Nah, risiko online apa sih yang dimaksud? Nah, risiko online yang dimaksud ini termasuk beredarnya kabar hoax, kemudian ujaran kebencian, penipuan, bullying, hingga diskriminasi yang dialami di dunia maya. Nah, berdasarkan Digital Civility Index secara global, negara-negara maju kalau kita lihat ini berada di urutan tertinggi, di mana Belanda ini berada di ranking pertama yang artinya menjadi negara dengan netizen paling sopan dengan indeks skor 51. Sementara di Asia Tenggara dan juga di Asia secara umum, Singapura ini berada di posisi teratas atau menjadi negara teladan nih karena paling sopan dalam aktivitas online. Dan keempat secara global dengan skor 59 yang posisinya ini berada setelah Belanda, Inggris dan juga Amerika Serikat. Nah, menariknya nih kalau kita lihat berdasarkan generasinya di antara boomers, Gen X, Gen Z dan juga milenial. Nah, generasi Z dan milenial ini paling banyak terlibat dalam kasus bullying. Sementara generasi X dan juga milenial ini paling banyak yang menjadi target bullying, di mana sebanyak 62% dari Gen X merasa menjadi target bullying. Sementara milenial sebanyak 59% milenial ini merasa menjadi target dari bullying. Nah, perilaku bullying oleh anonim atau orang asing, strangers gitu ya, di tahun 2020 melonjak. Yang paling tinggi peningkatannya kalau kita lihat ini adalah pelecehan secara online, yaitu dari 25% melonjak menjadi 47%. Kemudian cyberbullying dari 12% menjadi 33% dan diperlakukan dengan tidak baik, ini dari 19% menjadi 37%. Lantas bagaimana dengan ranking netizen Indonesia? Kita lihat di slide berikutnya. Nah, Indonesia menempati ranking ke-29 dari 32 negara atau memburuk 8 poin dengan skor 76. Dengan kata lain, netizen Indonesia mendapatkan predikat paling tidak sopan se-Asia Tenggara. Posisi netizen plus 62 ini bahkan jauh di bawah Malaysia yang berada di ranking 10 dengan skor 63. Atau berada di urutan kedua setelah Singapura dalam hal kesopanan online di Asia Tenggara. Nah, negara tetangga lain yang juga mendapatkan ranking lebih baik dari netizen Indonesia selanjutnya ada Filipina, kalau kita lihat ini berada di peringkat 13 dengan indeks skor 66. Kemudian Vietnam, kalau kita lihat Thailand di urutan ke-19, indeks skor 69, kemudian Vietnam di ranking 24 dengan indeks skor 71. Dan kita ini hanya lebih unggul dari Meksiko, Rusia, dan Afrika Selatan dalam hal kesopanan online di survei tersebut secara global. Nah, skor kesopanan di dunia maya ini sebenarnya kalau kita lihat untuk kaum remaja sebenarnya tidak berubah dari tahun sebelumnya. Tapi justru turun di kalangan dewasa. Merosotnya kesopanan netizen negara kita ini menurut survei tersebut didorong oleh netizen dewasa yang bertambah tidak sopan, di mana skornya meningkat sebanyak 16 poin. Nah, sementara itu ada 3 cara atau aksi pertahanan yang paling banyak dilakukan dalam menghadapi bullying netizen Indonesia, yaitu blok, kemudian berbicara kepada teman atau mengabaikan saja. Nah, sementara itu dari survei tersebut ada sebanyak 42% responden Indonesia mengatakan bahwa kesopanan online ini lebih baik selama masa pandemi COVID-19. Pasalnya mereka merasa bahwa kesopanan online ini meningkat berkat adanya rasa kebersamaan yang lebih besar dan juga menyaksikan orang satu sama lain ini saling membantu gitu. Sementara itu ada 17% responden yang justru mengatakan aktivitas online memburuk selama pandemi. Pasalnya lebih banyak penyebaran informasi palsu dan juga menyesatkan. Selain itu juga lebih banyak orang yang bertindak egois secara online. Selanjutnya kita lihat, nah dalam riset tersebut, seberapa baik atau buruk kesopanan online ini terkait dengan interaksi yang tidak diinginkan, kemudian interaksi seksual yang tidak diinginkan, kerusakan reputasi, dan ternyata ini ditindas dan dilecehkan justru dinilai lebih negatif atau semakin buruk pada tahun 2020 dibandingkan dengan tahun 2019 yang naik 5 poin. Nah, selanjutnya kita lihat kenapa sih netizen Indonesia menjadi salah satu yang berada di peringkat bawah kesopanan di dunia maya adalah, nah netizen Indonesia ini dikatakan bahwa cukup tinggi ya terpapar hal-hal negatif di internet. Nah hal negatif yang dinilai menggerus kesopanan itu menurut laporan tersebut adalah penyebaran hoax, kemudian ujaran kebencian, diskriminasi hingga bullying. Nah secara rinci kalau kita lihat risiko terbesar dari perilaku netizen Indonesia adalah adanya hoax dan juga penipuan yang naik 13 poin menjadi 47%. Kemudian ada ujaran kebencian atau hate speech, ini juga naik 5 poin menjadi 27%, dan diskriminasi kalau kita lihat ini justru turun 2 poin menjadi 13%. Nah, 48% sumber risikonya ini berasal dari orang asing atau strangers. Nah, sementara itu dari hampir 5 dari 10 orang atau sekitar 47% responden mengaku bahwa mereka ini terlibat dalam kasus bullying atau penindasan. Dan 19% responden mengaku bahwa mereka ini sebagai target dari bullying. Dan kaum milenial ini adalah yang paling terpukul oleh bullying, di mana sebanyak 54% milenial merasa terpukul akibat bullying, kemudian disusul 47% generasi Z yang mengalami bullying atau perundungan. Nah dari yang meskipun kalau kita lihat terlepas gitu ya dari yang biasanya disebut netizen maha benar, namun studi tahunan kesopanan digital ini tentu saja penting gitu ya untuk diperhatikan supaya bisa meningkatkan kesadaran kita dan juga mendorong interaksi yang lebih positif secara online.
Okay, so in the video we heard we see that Indonesian social media is very impolite, actually very impolite, because it is ranked 29 out of 32. It's very impolite. So of course this is not a good thing, and as you can see from the video. So and another thing about this is that social media is different with compared when we talk directly to somebody. Because when we talk direct to somebody, we know that when we say something that make our when somebody doesn't happy, we know from his face or her face. But when we use social media, then we actually don't know whether the person that we send, whether he or she is happy or not. So that's why when we make a joke or when we bully somebody, then we have to be careful, because maybe he or she is not happy or he or she is angry to us because of our statement, because of our comments. So that's why social media is very tricky, I think. So we should use it wisely. Okay, so that's one thing, and these are some the result of research from Kata Data KIC. So the society thinks that political content has many hoax or something that is not true. Okay, so this is actually the source of hoax. So according to the survey, politics is number one. So there are many hoax, and then about health, and also about religion. So there are many hoax and berita bohong, and false news and something like that. But why they deliver hoax? This is the reason. This is the motivation why the hoax is delivered in the social media. So the biggest reason is that they just share the news or the information that they receive without thinking whether the information is true or not. So this is actually a lesson for us. When we receive a news, when we receive an information from, I don't know, from a group or from our friend or from somebody, then before we share the information to other group or to other person, then we need to clarify first whether the news is correct or not, whether it is hoax or not. Yeah, we should not directly forward the news to many groups, because if it is a hoax, then yeah, it is not good, right? Because we are part of the people that spread the hoax. It is not good. And the second reason is that why they broadcast the hoax, because they don't know whether the news is not true. Yeah. So this is actually similar with number one. So when we don't know, then in my opinion, it is better to just keep it for ourselves. Okay, it's not risky, and maybe try to find whether the news is true or not. When we are sure that it is true, then we can share it to the others if we want, or if it is good to be known by others, or something like that. The other reason is we don't know the source of the news explicitly, and the next thing is, yeah, hanya iseng. They don't have any yeah, they just want to share something like that. And the last is they want to, yeah, mempengaruhi. They want to change others' opinion. And mempengaruhi, they want to change. They want to affect other people. Okay, so this is something simple but important. So when we are talking about social media, then the content easy. The content is fire. The news is fire. The content of the message is the fire, and the social media is the gasoline. So when there is when we receive a fire, for example, when we receive a hoax, for example, and we share it to many groups, this means the fire becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so we need to really think when we want to share something. We need to make sure that the content is true. We need to make sure that it is correct. We need to make sure that it is that is a good thing to do. Okay, we need to make sure, because if sharing the news is will have negative effect, then maybe it is better to not share the news. I think it is like that. Now, to know whether it is good to share it or not, of course, there are many situations, and you need to ask yourself. You need to ask yourself whether this is good or not. You need to ask your menanyakan hati nurani. You need to ask to your hati nurani whether it is good or not. I think it is a good thing to check. Okay, so that's why we need to know the ethics. We need to know the guideline to be involved in social media, so we do not do something bad. We do not do something that can hurt many people. We do not do something that spread the hoax. We do not do something that, something bad. There are many forms of bad things. Okay, so after knowing the factors of social media, then we go to this is Quran, Surat Al-Hujurat, verse 6. So from the meaning, we actually, it is quite similar with social media. Quite similar. There is an analogy. So in this meaning, it says that when somebody comes to you with the news, then we need to check carefully so that you are not receiving a disaster without knowing the condition that can make you regret of what you did. Okay, so this is a person comes to us, tell us a news, and there is an analogy between this and social media. In social media, we receive a message of content from a person to our social media. So by using this analogy, then what we need to do is that we need to check whether the news is correct or not. Because if we do not know it, then a disaster may happen because we do not know the news carefully. Okay, so this is one of the guidelines in social media. So the first guideline is that we need to check the correctness of the news.
آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين.
Okay. Besides that, there is also hadith. This hadith said that there will come a period which is full of lies to humans. The one that lies is trusted. The one that honest is dustakan, and there are some pengkhianatan, I don't know, orang yang dikhianati. So these are some bad things, I think, some bad situations, some bad condition. So yeah, because this is hadith, and hadith is from Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad is not a lie, and hadith will be true, so it will happen. So it will happen because this is hadith. So when a hadith says something like this, then for sure it will happen. But we do not know when, but for sure it will happen. Okay. So maybe now, I don't know, maybe in the future. So there will be a situation which is very bad like this. Okay. And of course, we cannot avoid it because this is hadith, so it will happen. This is one thing. Okay, so after knowing the Quran and Hadith, there is also some Indonesian regulation about ITE, information and electronic transaction and information. Okay, so the ITE says that there are some bad behavior like gambling or I don't know bullying or I don't know the English word for this, carding, hacking, cracking, malware, or you make something or somebody is scared, hoax and Sarah. Okay, so there are many behavior that has been written in this regulation, and if we do not obey this, then we may go in jail because of it, because there is a regulation about this. Okay, so this is the source of how to behave good in social media. Okay, so how to behave good. Let's discuss some of them, maybe not all of them. Okay, the first is remember about hisab. We as a Muslim, we know that after we die, we have to responsible for everything that we will do in this world. So that's why when we remember about hisab, then we will of course try to minimize our bad behavior. By remembering about hisab, then when we active in social media, then what we do in social media will also be we have to be responsible for that. Okay, so this can of course minimize our bad behavior in social media. And the next thing is about friendship. There's a good friend is really important. I think friend is really important. So, for example, if you want to know whether a person is good or not, then you should investigate his or her friends, because most of the time the friends are very similar with him or herself. Okay, so if his or her friends are most of them good people, then we can conclude that the person is also good. But if the friends are bad people, then most likely the person is also a bad person. So we can this is written in Kitab ta'lim muta'alim. So if we want to investigate somebody, we can investigate his or her friends. I think this is true. And okay. Ikhlas, okay, yeah. So this is these are some source how we should control ourselves. We should control ourselves so that we do not do something bad. This is the point. What kind of behavior that we do in the social media? Updating our status, communication, virtual communication, public when we public speaking, for example, how we comments, how we share the information. So we need to when we do all of this in the social media, then we need to pay attention that we need to be polite, we need to avoid bullying somebody, we need to say something good. We can try to make a joke but without bullying somebody. I think it's also good, yeah. Making joke is good, but bullying somebody is not good, I think. So we need to make sure that in our social media we do something good to others. Yeah, there is another video for around 5 minutes. Let's check it out.
Ya, pada awalnya media sosial memang diperuntukkan sebagai ruang atau wadah komunikasi dan juga informasi bagi mereka yang mungkin terpisah jarak. Namun kita lihat bagaimana seiring perkembangan zaman, media sosial banyak sekali mengambil peran dalam kehidupan kita sehari-hari, hingga mungkin dari hal-hal yang berbau positif, begitu yang bermanfaat, sampai ke dengan hal-hal yang bermaslahat hingga berbuat jahat. Nah, banyaknya dampak buruk dari penggunaan media sosial kini banyak membawa kekhawatiran dari banyak pihak. Nah, salah satunya itu tadi adalah MUI yang kemudian beberapa waktu belakangan ini mengeluarkan fatwa yang juga akhirnya bergerak melalui fatwa hukum dan juga pedoman bermuamalah di media sosial. Kita lihat seperti apa. Ini ada jangan asal share di media sosial. Mungkin tahukah Anda? Oke, kita nextnya. Di mana ini? Oke. Saya masih coba ya. Kita akan melihat Indonesia ternyata juga menempati negara begitu yang negara terbanyak yang menggunakan media sosial. Sedikitnya ada 2,3 orang di seluruh dunia yang tercatat sebagai pengguna media sosial. Kita lihat. Oke, ini agak kurang bersahabat kalau subuh-subuh mungkin touchscreen-nya dengan saya. Ini pengguna media sosial di Indonesia, itu tadi saya bilang pengguna internet mencapai 63 juta orang dari seluruh populasi atau wilayah di Indonesia. 95% mereka mengakses ke media sosial. Data ini dari kita lihat 2,3 miliar orang di seluruh dunia ini juga aktif menggunakan media sosial. Data atau fakta bahwa Indonesia menempati urutan atau peringkat keempat pengguna terbesar Facebook, misalnya salah satunya sebelumnya didahului oleh negara Amerika, kemudian Brasil, dan juga ada India, dan juga Indonesia menempati urutan atau posisi kelima sebagai negara terbesar pengguna aktif Twitter. Lalu kita geser ke halaman berikutnya, oke. Apakah kita masih bisa bergerak? Nah, ini tingkat berbagi informasi di media sosial. Kalau kita lihat dari data-data yang tadi, Indonesia sebagai negara terbesar pengguna aktif Facebook dan juga pengguna aktif Twitter, itu juga menjelaskan kepada kita bahwa Indonesia memiliki potensi atau berpotensi sebagai pasar terbesar bagi dunia digital, tidak hanya di dunia digital Asia saja, tapi juga di seluruh dunia. Kita lihat tingkat berbagi informasi di media sosial, artinya orang-orang Indonesia paling banyak menggunakan media sosial ini untuk memberikan atau men-share sesuatu, berbagi informasi. Paling banyak di Facebook jumlahnya hampir 45%, 44,86%. Kemudian WhatsApp hampir 29%. Kemudian yang ketiga adalah Line 21,59% dan juga Twitter sebesar 11,76% dan sisanya lain-lain. Misalnya ada juga misalnya Path dan juga lain sebagainya 13,04%. Lalu berikutnya lagi, nah ini yang juga harusnya menjadi pedoman bagi kita semua, mereka-mereka yang aktif menggunakan media sosial adalah bagaimana memverifikasi data, informasi atau gambar ketika kita melihat di sebuah media sosial. Yang pertama adalah cek dulu kebenaran sumbernya, jadi jangan asal men-share atau membagikan informasi, begitu harus dicek dulu, mungkin Anda bisa googling, kemudian konfirmasi juga dan klarifikasi informasi yang Anda dapat tersebut, dan yang pasti tidak diperbolehkan atau tidak diperkenankan men-share atau membagikan informasi berupa kebencian, fitnah, gosip, dan juga adu domba. Kalau mungkin kita bisa simpulkan, penggunaan media sosial ini bak pisau begitu bermata dua. Anda bisa mendapatkan mudaratnya, penggunaan negatif mudaratnya, atau juga sebaliknya Anda juga bisa mendapatkan manfaat dari men-share segala sesuatu yang ada di media sosial. Nah, terkait dengan fatwa Majelis Ulama Indonesia dengan penggunaan akun media sosial, kami melalui akun Twitter kami @cnnandiconnected juga mencoba mencari tahu seperti apa respon dari netizen terkait dengan fatwa MUI mengenai hukum bermuamalah di media sosial. Nah, polling ini sudah kami adakan sejak kurang lebih 14 jam yang lalu. Sejauh ini juga sudah diikuti hampir 500 netizen di Twitter dengan jawaban beserta alasan yang berbeda-beda pastinya. Kita lihat apa kata netizen terkait dengan fatwa MUI ini. Oke, 40% ternyata netizen Indonesia menyatakan bahwa setuju dengan adanya fatwa hukum bermuamalah di media sosial. Kemudian angkanya lagi adalah 16% menyatakan kurang setuju, 20% tidak setuju, sisanya masih 24% masih mengambang gitu, masih abu-abu, tidak tahu. Oke. Banyak juga ada beberapa polling begitu kalau saya lihat ya, bahwa katanya netizen atau masyarakat ini lebih banyak puasa dulu di media sosial agar lebih tenang menjalankan ibadah bulan suci Ramadan.
Okay. So as you can see that one important point is that we have to pay attention when we receive a news or a content. Then we need to make sure that the content is correct or true before we share the content. I think this is one message that was delivered from this video. This is another quote by Jay Baer. Worry more about being social and worry less about doing social media. So we need to be worried when we are not actively involved in a real society, and we should not worry when we are not actively involved in social media, because in reality it's the other way around. We maybe do not care too much about our real society, and we too much care to our social media maybe. So we should pay attention to this. We should try to minimize, or I don't know, to be more effective in using social media, or to be more useful in using social media. And we need to worry when we are not worry more about our real society. Now, this is the one that was mentioned in the video, fatwa MUI tentang bermuamalah melalui media sosial. So this is the document. Now the document is quite. There are many information. For example, what should we do? Apa yang what is wajib, what is haram, and what should we do, what we should not do. So it is actually written in this document. Yeah, I think I will not discuss all of this because it's maybe too much. You can find it in the internet if you want. I think this is a very good guidelines. So you should find it and yeah, take a look at it. You don't have to read it slowly, but just take a look at it and which one is wajib and which one is haram, so that we can avoid some bad things. This is our purpose. So we don't want to do bad things. This is just we don't want to do bad things, especially in social media. So that's why we need to know. It's yeah. I think it's not difficult to understand. You just have to read it fast, and I think you will understand the meaning. This is how we can verify whether the information is correct or not. Okay. Number 3, we do not share information that contains hoax, riba, fitnah. Okay, so I think it's some general rule, but it's a good idea to read it once. Okay, so this is the reference. I think you have already received the PDF or the book, maybe because this is already has ISBN, I think. So maybe you already received the PDF. Okay, this is a quote from Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab. Let me read it in Indonesia. Mahkota seseorang adalah akalnya, derajat seseorang adalah agamanya, sedangkan kehormatan seseorang adalah budi pekertinya. So, budi pekerti means behavior. So, we need to behave good, in particular in social media. Yeah, I think that's it for the content of the presentation that I can share. If there are something that you want to ask, feel free to ask, or you want to discuss, feel free to discuss. I apologize if maybe my explanation is not clear. I hope you can follow the idea and the message, and also through this event, through this occasion, it is an opportunity for us to become better in the future. Yeah, I think that's it from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, that's all the lecture from Mr. Dr. Diki Askia, SSI MSI. Thank you for your very great presentation and explanation, sir. May all of us get the values and benefits from this lecture. Well, the next agenda is a question and answer section. For the participants who want to ask a question are invited. Just raise your hand, turn on your microphone, and mention your name if possible. If not, text your question on the Zoom chat. Okay, is there any question?
You can also ask in Indonesia if you want, so it's fine. Bisa bahasa Indonesia juga, silahkan. Assalamualaikum, Pak Imam. You can also, or if you have any comments or any questions, or we can discuss. Any questions or comments? Hello, any questions or comments? Yeah, okay. No question? If there's no question, then I will ask. Okay, and then I will ask to the students. Yeah, okay. So because there is no question, then I will ask. Well, maybe it's not a question. Maybe it's just something. A comments, maybe comments. Okay. Yeah. So you know that this semester, in this semester, the lecture is done online via maybe Zoom like this one, or via another platform maybe, but I think most of them are still online. So I don't know what is your behavior when you participate in the online learning like this. Yeah, so this is just sharing. This is just sharing because I do not teach. I do not teach the IUP for 2021. So for sure, I do not teach you. So I just want to share in the class that I teach that in my opinion or in my observation, yeah, most of the students do not turn on their camera. Okay, so what do you think about this? Any comments, any suggestions, or any remarks? It's fine. It has nothing to do with the grade. It's just some questions. Yeah. Okay. Any comments? Mbak Yasmin, any comments? Nampak P, Yasmin, Nur.
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Fine, or English is also fine.
Okay, I'll say it. I'll deliver it in English.
Okay.
Personally, I feel it's a little bit, from the perspective of lecturer, it's a little bit rude for not opening camera. Or at the very least, if it's an open discussion, you should at least open your camera. But as a student, sometimes I feel because the network strength is not equal, like maybe some people have problems with their network, so they couldn't open cam during the session. So I think we can I think if that's the case, they should tell the lecturer or anyone, like ask those that they have a problem in their network, therefore they should be excused from closing their cams. I think that's my opinion, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So as far as I understand, you state that it is better to turn on the camera, but if the condition is not possible, then they can turn off the camera. Is it something like that? Okay.
Sir. Yes.
Any other comments from other students? Any other comments? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree with Mbak Yasmin. From which department are you?
Industrial and Systems Engineering, sir.
Industrial and System Engineering. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So it's a good thing. Yeah, I don't know because as stated by Mbak Yasmin, yeah, it is maybe of course as a, because I am a lecturer, as a teacher, as a lecturer, I hope that the students, of course, turn on the camera, for example. But maybe from the perspective of the students, they do not turn on the camera because of some reasons. Okay, so yeah, so it is of course one of the dilemma when there is an online learning, because we do not know the condition of the student. But if I may give you suggestions, if it is fine, if I may give you suggestions, then then if you have a good internet connection, if you have a reliable internet connection, I strongly recommend you to turn on the camera, because of many reasons. The first reason is, of course, you respect more to the teacher, to the lecturer. And maybe the lecturer is maybe doesn't need something like that, but in my opinion, it is a good thing to put more respect to the lecturer. The reason is that when we study, this actually related to the study. When we study, I don't know the English word, the berkah, the barokah, the berkah. In Islam, we know that there is something called berkah or barokah. When we respect the teacher more, then most likely or the probability of having knowledge that is berkah is higher, I think. It is my opinion, or maybe it is true. I think it's true. So that's why since you are still in the first year, you still have a very long way to go, and it is I think it is a very good time to do something good, to try to find not only the knowledge, but the knowledge that is berkah, so that it will be useful for you, for your career after you graduate, and after you in the future. I believe in that. Yeah, maybe I will share a little bit about my own story, if you will, if it is fine for you. So during my high school period, I was cheating many times. Saya mencontek selama SMA. I was cheating many times during my high school, and and I cannot avoid that because I already have some friends and we already cooperate many times in many situations. So I cannot avoid that. So that's why during that time I promised to myself that okay, maybe in this high school period it's a little bit late for me to be good, but I promise that when I go to university I will be a different person. Okay, so that's why when I entered the university, I think it was in 2001. Yeah, exactly 20 years ago. I do not do any cheating anymore. So, and alhamdulillah, I can do that. So yeah, and I think it is, it feels better in that way. It feels better. It feels better. And I graduated in 2005. So exactly 4 years. And then I continue to master degree also in mathematics in ITS from 2005 until 2008. And then I become a lecturer in 2008, also in mathematics. And in 2010, I study doctoral in Netherlands, 2010 until 2015. Okay, so I personally believe that in our behavior, in any behavior, including in social media, we should not only judge something based on the result, but we should also choose a process that is good. The process is also important, and I think it matters a lot. So jadi tidak hanya hasil akhirnya saja, tetapi prosesnya. So for example, in a courses, then we should not, of course, grade is important, but we should also care about the process. We should also care about how we learn. We should also care about how we study. We should also care about how we respect to our teacher and some other things. And I think you know what is good and what is bad. Okay, so it's something like that. So I told you about my personal experience, because at least maybe you are still in the first year, you still have a very long way to go. Be a good person, be a good student, and so that when you graduated from ITS, if you behave good during your study, and I believe that when you graduate, you will also obtain something good too. If you want to work, maybe you can work fast. If you want to continue study, maybe you can continue study also immediately or fast. Or when you want to, for example, become entrepreneur, then you can success in entrepreneur. Okay, so this is the reason. So be a good person. This is of course I cannot say what is good, what is bad. I know that you are all have grown up. You know what is good and what is bad, and believe me that if you do good things, then it will end up also in good things as well. Okay. Maybe any other questions, maybe from the students? comments or remarks or anything? Any other comments? Okay, is it maybe it's time to sampai jam berapa? Until what time is it the schedule?
Until 9 o'clock, sir.
Until 9, okay. So there are still 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Yeah, okay. May I give you some suggestions? Is it fine? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe I would like to give you suggestions, but suggestions is the only thing that I can do, because in the end it is up to you whether you want to do it or not. Yeah, okay. It is about the online learning. The first suggestion that I mentioned was about turning on the camera, and then the second suggestion that I would like to give is about related to my story about teaching. I don't want to be suudon. I do not want to be suudon because there is somebody raised hand, Mas Robbani.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Hamas Rabbani dari Teknik Mesin. Ingin bertanya, Pak.
Ya, silakan.
Apa benefit dari berkah, Pak?
Gimana? Nggak dengar? Bisa diulangi?
Halo, tes.
Ya.
Apa benefit dari berkah, Pak?
Oh, benefit dari berkah. Oke.
Ya, Pak.
Ya. Oke, maaf.
Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, ya. That's a very good question. So, the benefit of berkah or barokah, of course, berkah or barokah is something that we cannot see. We can call it abstract, but it has some effects, some effect. For example, of course, we do not know about berkah, so we cannot see it, we cannot observe it, but we just guess it. Kita hanya menebaknya. So, for example, there is a story that there is a person that has a very high grade in the university, but he or she is maybe very difficult to find a job. Maybe this is one because of the knowledge is not berkah. Maybe this is just maybe, or maybe there is a person that is very smart. It has a very good grade, but when he or she is working, they forget what they learned during university. And because I was in 2021 and I still have some friends, and some of them comments that I do not forget what I learned in my university, but now I need it when I work. So maybe this is because the knowledge not berkah. Maybe this is just my guess, because I do not know as well. So or maybe I don't know, but if there is no berkah, usually it is not useful for ourselves or for others or for something or some other things. But on the other hand, there is also maybe a student with the grade is not very good, but he has a, I don't know, a bright career maybe. Yeah, so maybe we don't know. Maybe he or she has some more berkah maybe because he learns seriously. He respects the teacher more maybe or something like that. We don't know. So yeah, so berkah is something that we want, but we don't know because we cannot observe it. We cannot see it. But maybe in the future, then after a few years, then we may feel it. But we still not sure because we cannot see it. We cannot see the berkah directly. But I believe that we can feel it. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so yeah. Jadi I have maybe one more example about berkah. Yeah. There is jadi saya pernah dengar bahwa kalau kita puasa, when we are fasting, makan sahur is berkah. Okay, I think maybe you have heard this as well. So why is this berkah? If you forget to makan sahur, then the difference is very huge between makan sahur and not makan sahur, because makan sahur is berkah. Even if you only eat a few, I don't know, cookies or a few rice, because it is berkah, then I'm sure you will have a different stamina when you are fasting. Yeah, this is called berkah, because this is already defined as berkah. So we are sure that it's berkah. So we can observe. So we can conclude something like that. Yeah. Okay. So this is one phenomena about berkah that we can observe. Nah, another maybe this is the last. Satu kali lagi, Mbak ya. The last explanation is about berkah is, let me see, teaching, mengajar. Jadi so teaching makes our knowledge berkah. So maybe I don't know if you are ngelesi, kalau sama ngelesi, if you are ngelesi, maybe high school student, I'm really sure that you are very expert on for example, the material of the high school that you teach. Why is that so? It is not because you are older. It is not because you are maybe know more. It is because you teach it. When you teach something, it will become berkah. The berkah will be increased. So that's why when you are ngelesi, you teach something to somebody, then the knowledge that you are sharing will become a more berkah. This is also another occurrence of berkah that we can feel if you are ngelesi. So this is yeah. So I think I believe that if you are ngelesi, even without any preparation, I'm sure you can do it very well. Okay, and you can memorize it very well. You can explain it very well because it is berkah. Okay, so So maybe so that's why I have one more suggestion. So that's why if maybe your friend or maybe next year, maybe the new students ask you for some explanation or they have some problems, yeah, please explain what you know to them, because when you're explaining something to others, when you are not exactly teaching but explaining, I'm sure it will increase the berkah. So to your friend or to your adik kelasnya, adik angkatannya nanti, I'm sure it will bring something good to you. Nah, okay. Yeah, I think that's it for the berkah. I think it is very, very, very important. Okay, thank you. I think that's it for tonight. Thank you for your attention. I apologize if my explanations are maybe difficult to understand, or maybe there are some mistakes in my explanations. I apologize, and I hope that starting from now, all of us are trying to become a better person in the future, to become a better behavior in the future. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for your great story and suggestion. I hope that advice can inspire us. We can implement it to our daily activities. Thank you also to the participants that had participated actively. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the last agenda is closing. Let's close this event by reciting kafaratul majlis. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu alla ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Thank you so much for your kind intention, and I'm, as your moderator tonight, your sister Fatia Farhan, apologize to you for all my faults. Akhirul kalam, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah, waridho wal inayah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Sir, thank you.
Terima kasih sudah ikut malam-malam begini. Terima kasih. Sukses semuanya.
Thank you, sir.
Amin.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.